What's up, my beautiful peoples? It's Kim Young Kim, Mr. Kim, however you know me. Just giving y'all a shout out. So this video today is about getting a job. Not just getting a job, but also just business in general. I want you guys to understand some basic things about business, some basic things about getting a job, and so that's what I'm going to talk to y'all about. So I'm doing this all in one take, so if I stutter or stammer, just bear with me. I don't have a whole lot of time to make this video, but at the same time, I did want to help you with some information. So this is what I want you to do. All of you guys need to have a sheet of paper out in front of you and a pencil, all right? Okay. Now this is what you're going to do. You're going to, right now, make a list of all the names of all the adults in your life. Now, this could be people who you, family members, your uncle and aunt. List their actual name down, right? So Uncle Joe, Aunt Susie, Cousin Jethro, whatever it is, write their name down. And the reason why I say that is you'll understand later. So anyways, so write down all the adults in your life, family, friends, write down each family, friend's individual name, anybody you go to church with, maybe you go to mosque with, wherever you know adults at. And just make a long list of all the adults that you know in your life, teachers, whoever, right? So go ahead, pause this video, and then make your list. Okay, boom, here I am, I'm back. What's up? So you have your list in front of you. Now take a look at your list, and I want you to go ahead and circle anybody who's a manager or assistant manager, someone who is a decision maker at their job. If you know what their job is, go ahead and circle those people. If you don't know what their job is, then maybe you need to start asking more questions about their lives, right? So circle anybody who's a manager, assistant manager, or a supervisor of some sort, and contact those people and ask them if they can get you a job, right? So do that. Then, after that, what I want you to do, or what you want to do for yourself, is you want to contact each one of the other adults, any adult that you didn't circle their name because they're not in a supervisor position, and let them know you're looking for a job. Let them know you're looking for a job, and ask them if they know anybody who can hook you up with a job, who can help make that connection. The reason why I'm talking about this stuff is it's very important that you understand how important your network is, right? Your network is all the people that you know, and more importantly, actually, it's not who you know, but who knows you, right? So if you know somebody but they don't remember you, that doesn't count, right? Or if you know somebody and they don't really know you well, it's tough for someone to vouch for you and to refer you to a job if they don't know you, right? Or know you well. Okay, so work your network to find a job. Also, when you are in school, some of you guys are high school seniors, those of you guys who I taught are now high school seniors, right? And you're graduating high school soon. Well, guess what? When you go off to college or wherever you go, you might need a job. You might need a little part-time job, right? So right now what you need to do is you need to get a letter of recommendation, right? They say that the best time to plant a tree is 20 years ago. The second best time is now. And what basically that's saying is you need to ask for something now, or you need to start something now if you don't already have it. And the reason why now is so important is you guys might have a couple more months in school. And these things take time, and I'll explain that in a second, right? So you are going to ask your teacher or an adult that you know for a letter of recommendation. There's the thing. With that letter of recommendation, you might even want to help them with the letter of recommendation. This is the thing. Teachers are busy, okay? They're very, very busy people. They have to work. They have family lives of their own. They have a lot going on. So the last thing that a teacher wants to do is sit down and think, concentrate on, just coming up with the right sentences to put into a letter of recommendation, right? So what you're going to do, perhaps, and you don't have to do this, but it might help your teacher, is write a letter for them based on what you think that they would say about you, your personality traits, the good things about you, and just send it to them and be like, hey, look, I know that you're busy. I understand how busy you are. Thank you also for the stuff that you're doing in my life. But I know you're busy, so I want to make your life a little easier. If you're willing to do this recommendation for me, I just put some sentences together thinking about what you might possibly say about me. Now, I've actually done this. I've done this with people who I've I've spoken at their conference and they're like, hey, you know what, I'm so busy right now. I'm like, look, let me just write the letter for you. I wrote the letter based on what I thought they would say. They looked through it, they maybe changed like a sentence or two, and then they just signed off on it, and then I had my letter of recommendation, right? So make it easy for them, okay? Also, make sure that you follow up. In business and in sales, there's this phrase that says, the fortune is in the follow-up, right? And you need to apply this to your job search as well. The fortune is in the follow-up. So when you ask your teacher for that recommendation, you also need to remind them maybe every week or so, hey, I was wondering if you got that recommendation done. I was wondering if you got that recommendation done. And don't be a pest, but at the same time, just remind them, because people are busy and people forget, and so sometimes we need reminders. And I do these entertainment gigs. There are times where I literally follow up, 8 times and I don't get a response. And it's not that the people don't even want to hire me, because they do end up hiring me. It's just the fact that they're busy, and I'm one of 75 people that emailed them that day. And guess what? Apparently their idea of the importance of my email didn't quite make the cut, which I don't take personal. I understand that people are busy, right? So keep that in mind. So follow up with your teacher. Now, some of y'all's teachers may not recommend you, and if that's the case, then that's a done deal. If they don't recommend you, don't take it personal. Don't get mad at them. They just, maybe they think you have some work to do. Maybe you do. I mean, we all have work to do, on ourselves. So don't take it personal. Just commit yourself to improving, and also maybe find a different adult who will write a letter of recommendation for you. I'm not going to edit that out. That's yours, baby. Anyways, so follow up, but also if they say no, then find someone else, okay? So there's that. Let me see, what else? So you're going to write the letter for them. You are going to help them with that. You're going to follow up. Every time you have a job, right, and you leave that job, you want your previous employer to write a letter of recommendation for you. And the reason why is every single job is a stepping stone to the next job. And so when you're leaving the job, you give them a 2 weeks notice, because that's what you're supposed to do. You don't just quit out of nowhere. You give them 2 weeks ahead of time notice, telling them that you're no longer working for the company. Whether or not you're quitting, or whether or not you're quitting and moving on to a new job, that's what you do. That's common courtesy, right? When you do that within 2 weeks, or that when you give them that 2 week notice, also maybe a day or two later, give them a little time to process it, because they're sad that you're leaving. You're going to ask them, hey, you know what? I was wondering if I could get a letter of recommendation for my experience here. I would really appreciate that, and remember to follow up, and remember to be, just leave on good terms. You never want to leave a job and have bad terms, because that stuff is going to follow you. You know what I'm saying? People are going to be like, oh, where'd you used to work? And you're like, oh, I used to work at, Del Taco, and they'll call Del Taco and be like, yeah, that guy was a jerk at the end, or, he just told us all to go screw ourselves. Not cool. Okay, so don't do that. Leave on good terms. Don't burn bridges. So the reason why I'm talking to you about letter recommendations, and I'm also talking to you about your network and so on and so forth, is this is the thing. Every single job, every single place of employment has many, many people that want a job there, right? But in order to differentiate yourself from all those other people, you have to do something different, right? You have to do something different. You have to have a letter of recommendation. That's doing something different. You have to have an introduction from someone they know and trust. That's doing something different. You have to have maybe a resume and maybe even a cover letter, depending on the job. I know that sounds extreme, but hey, guess what? That sets you apart from everybody else. Because on paper, all applicants are equal. Employers look at that application, they look at a different application, especially if you have no experience, how am I going to pick you over another person, right? So very, very important to differentiate yourself, work your network, and also be excellent, and make sure that you're prepared too. When you go on a job interview, make sure you are prepared, make sure that you learned a bunch of stuff about the company, make sure that you know what kind of questions they're going to ask, right? And one of the best ways to do that is to ask someone who's a manager in that same kind of general position. Well, how are you going to ask someone who's a manager? Why are they going to give you time to ask them questions? Well, here's what you can do. I do this all the time, right? I go up to people who have information that I want. I offer to buy them lunch. I buy them lunch, and then I ask them a bunch of questions about what they do, right? So, for example, someone who's a manager, I would ask a manager if I wanted to get a job in, I don't know, in the hotel industry. I would get a hotel manager, not the one I'm interviewing with, but I'd get a hotel manager. I'd be like, hey, you know what? I was wondering if I could take you out to lunch and pick your brain. I pay for lunch, but guess what? I get all this information that's going to help me get a job, and all, you know, you're going to get that money back in no time, right? So, yeah, getting information, using the internet to find out what kind of questions people will ask you. If you want, I will post some, actually, no, I am going to post some things that I asked some job people, because I've given this talk at a school, and so I went into a couple places, restaurant places, and asked the people who are managers there, like, what kind of things you look for in your employees when you're interviewing them. So, okay, so that's it. That was a lot of rambling in there, but I just want to help you guys go out and find a job and do the thing, or do the things that will help you to find a job. Okay, so yeah, those are the things. Watch the video again if you need to, and if you have any questions, go ahead and post them, I guess, in the comments. I don't know if I'm going to put this on YouTube or Facebook or whatever I'm doing. But anyways, go ahead and ask any questions. Feel free to, and I'll answer them to the best of my ability. So that's it. Hope you're doing well. Yeah, take care, and yeah, that's it. All right, peace.